Hello. Okay, so I received this message recently and I'm going to answer it specific to the person who asked it. But I also want to make this a video that can really apply to anyone because I think this is such a powerful, valuable question. So I'm going to read the specific question out loud, and not all aspects are going to apply to everyone, but the general theme definitely will. And that is a theme of living your dream life, even when you're not in your like eventual, maybe 5 year away vision. How do you start living that life now, even where you're at currently? So I'll read the question. It says, how do I live a life that's mine now? I'm living in LA and I want to be living in Bali and traveling to nature places. I just joined an ice bath and sauna membership, which feels aligned with living a more authentic life. And there are people there that want to talk about entrepreneurship and more aligned topics. So it's putting me more in an environment of growth. I love that. I've also thought about doing acting and dancing classes again and restarting my gratitude journey. And I've thought about launching a weekly run group where I make custom running meditations, try to build my business and raise money to sponsor a race in another country again. Maybe I could make it a weekly tradition to do a hike in nature or something. I'm also running now a 5K once a week to increase my pace. Okay, so specifically, this person is already, I'm so proud of you, already bringing aspects of their grander vision into the current lifestyle that she's living right now, right? So that's incredible. And that's like really the biggest thing that I would tap into is as you start recognizing what you want your eventual vision of life to look like. What would your dream life look like? Where would you be living? What would you be doing? What kinds of, things would fill your days? How would your days feel? Who would you be with? All of those things. You're not necessarily going to have every single aspect of that present in your life right now, right? For example, maybe LA doesn't quite feel the same as the eventual vision of living somewhere like Bali. What I find though is sometimes you could have your dream life be Bali, 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 and then get to Bali and hate it, right? So while Bali is an incredible example of, somewhere that is on your vision and on your heart to like to try living one day and maybe you love it. For me, one of the biggest things about tapping into your vision, even before you're there, is tapping into the actual feeling of the vision. So, for example, if the goal is to move to Bali, why? Really getting curious with yourself. Is it because there seem to be lots of other entrepreneurs there building, a certain type of lifestyle? Is it for the nature? I mean, I'm in Bali right now, and this is here, but this is not all of Bali normally. So it depends on where in Bali, right? And really starting to get clearer on why you want to live the lifestyle that you say you want to live. And again, if it is, for example, Bali, and you mentioned nature specifically, then yes, absolutely tapping into how can I be more in nature now, here where I am, is going to be such a big part of that. So, for example, before I moved to Indonesia, I was getting outside more in Canada. I was getting my feet in the earth because I had realized in Indonesia that actually mattered to me. And I didn't know that I cared about having my bare feet in the earth. But I really had this big awakening to how important that is for grounding. And so I started doing that even back in my like home environment while I was getting ready to move to Indonesia like more permanently. So I was really tapping into what is the feeling that gives me being there and how can I embrace that feeling more here in my present life. So all of these ideas are already incredible. Again, like really just getting into that state instead of waiting until that dream day comes. It's like, well, okay, if I would be running, if I would be having, conversations with other entrepreneurs because that's like my goal to be in, somewhere where there's lots of digital nomads and that kind of thing, then exactly how can I find those conversations now? How can I get myself in more of those rooms now? Sometimes that's online. Sometimes maybe that's at the gym and sauna and ice bath place. Like that's so cool to put yourself in those environments where you're like, I want to be around more people having these types of conversations. So instead of waiting, sorry, it just got really dark. Instead of waiting until that dream day comes to do that, where can I find those circles now? And you'll be surprised at how much of your like far away vision can actually be right here, right now, by the choices that we make in our current life. And I feel that our dream life is really just it's something we emerge into through a combination of all the little different baby decisions we're making in our current life. It's not this like far off thing that you have to hope comes to you. It's literally, how do I keep putting myself in those circles, in those environments, in those states, in those conversations, right? And in those choices that actually do align with that vision that's on my heart. So it really comes back to, again, knowing why the vision is on your heart, knowing what about that is important to you. Again, it can be the entrepreneurial conversations, it could be the nature, and then it's like, okay, cool, how do I step into that today? Not 5 years from now, not when I'm a millionaire, but what choice can I make right now with the amount of money that I have, with where I currently am, with what my capacity is today. Your capacity might not be like having every single conversation with every entrepreneur in your city right now and like getting out there and starting a million different business projects all at once. Your capacity might literally be, okay, what's something that feels true to my vision? One day, okay, I would be in the earth a lot, so I'm just going to take my shoes off. Like, it might literally just be that simple some days. And then other days it's like, because it sounds like, specifically this person, it sounds like you have a ton of ideas of all the different ways that this can look, right? And that can cause so much pressure to do all of them that you end up doing none of them. So taking those baby steps of like, okay, I joined, a place where I'm going to start having more conversations like this. So maybe I go do that once a week or something. And yeah, maybe you start a project where you do this once a week or once a month. And it's less about like how fast you're running towards that dream and more about in each and every moment that you have another opportunity to choose in alignment with that vision. Can you bring more of that into your day-to-day life, right? And not perfectly. Nobody's going to do it perfectly. It's like your dream life self might be like the most nourished and, high energy, creative, all of that. And in the moments that you're not necessarily feeling that way or doing those things all the time, you can feel like, oh, I'm falling away. I'm falling, behind on my vision. But something that I heard recently, and I don't know if it was when, I don't know, some spaceship was going to like the moon or Mars or something. I can't remember what space expedition it was, but where they released like the data of how, like, what percentage of that journey the spacecraft was like on track towards that destination. So it was like, do you think it's 50% of the time they were on track and always kind of like course correcting? Is it like 80% of the time that they were on track and the rest they were course correcting? And it was literally only 3% of the time that this, again, I don't even actually know the full story, but the spaceship was like actually pointed properly towards the destination. And the rest of the time it was like, veering off course and then always just sort of course correcting and eventually getting there. So it's like we can make this big deal about, oh, I made a decision that was out of alignment with my vision and I fell off track and I'm off now and now I have to get back on. But it's literally just like in every given moment that you come back to your center and go, oh yeah, like what would be in alignment with my vision today? Can I do something that puts me into that energy, that reminds me that my dream life is actually so much closer than I think? Because here I am actually having these conversations. Here I am actually in these rooms, in these circles. Here I am actually growing. Here I am actually running. Here I am actually taking the baby steps in my business, right? It's like, it's not actually so far away. It's not in Bali. It's not when you're a millionaire. It's all actually available to us, the unfolding of what we're stepping into, if we stop telling ourselves this story that it has to feel so far away. And then in those micro moments when you're like, oh, okay, I realize I feel a little bit off track now. Like, what am I actually moving towards in my life in this moment? I forgot how capable I am. Okay, cool. Come back to center. Make that next aligned choice. Again, might be just a walk, might be a run, might be a conversation, might be listening to a podcast, might be laying in the earth, right? But that tiny little micro decision to keep coming back into alignment with what feels true and what feels expansive, what feels like your highest vision, right? And not telling yourself this story that you've already messed it up and there's no point in coming back on track. Because definitely lots of people that I work with that experience this, like, and myself as well, sometimes this, okay, I have a million different ideas of how I can get closer to my dream life. Can sometimes get overwhelmed by all those ideas and not do any of them. So it's literally just like, what is that baby step today? What is that baby step in this moment? I didn't feel in alignment with that for a moment. Okay, cool. That's what that feels like. Now let me come back to center over and over again. So hopefully that supports you with like just really feeling into, again, coming back home to what is that vision? Like if I could be living any life I could possibly choose and it didn't matter time, money, location, none of the logistics got in the way, but if I could live any life, what would that be? And then again, why? Why do I care? What would I be feeling? You know, for me personally, having another baby is really, really massively on my heart right now. And it's like, okay, why? Why do I want another baby? Okay, well, I feel like I came here to earth to be this like nurturer, and I feel so alive and like purposeful when that's, you know, that's literally what I'm meant to be doing. I can just feel it. I'm meant to have another baby, right? So that's not wrong. That's not bad to feel like I'm just meant for it. I can't even explain it, right? But it's like, okay, if I feel like I came here to be a nurturer, then how can I be nurturing more in my day-to-day life? How can I be the nurturer in my current relationships? How can I be the nurturer in terms of creating more spaces, creating more opportunities for women to come and be held within my energy, right? Like what can I do to nurture others that are not just my eventual baby, right? But when I'm in that nurturing energy, I'm like, oh, I'm already doing it. I am the nurturer. I am like, you know, when that baby comes to be like, of course, yeah, like nurturing mama, here she is. Now she's on my chest. But like before that, it could feel like, oh, I can't be that until the baby comes, until that day comes. So yeah, it's just always like kind of looking at what is that vision? Why do I feel pulled towards it? And how can I be that? How can I step into that more each day? Anyway, hope that resonates. Send me a message if you want to chat more around it to the person who sent this to me or anyone that's listening. And yeah, your dream life is not actually that far away. It's here. It gets to be here in each and every moment, even if it does not look like you're there yet. It's always unfolding, and each next step is a part of that unfolding.